Imagine a time when warriors didn't just fight to survive but lived for battle. A time when the sound of clashing swords and roaring war cries echoed across the seas. These warriors, feared by kings and armies alike, were the Vikings. But what made them so powerful? How did they defeat their enemies time and time again? The Vikings weren't just raiders. They were masterful fighters, tactical geniuses, and fearless explorers. Today, we uncover the secrets behind their incredible fighting skills and why they were so much better at war than their enemies. Chapter 2: The Viking Warrior Mindset. One of the biggest reasons the Vikings were great fighters was their mindset, fearless in battle. Vikings believed in Norse mythology, where warriors who died bravely in battle were taken to Valhalla, a warrior's paradise. This belief made them fearless. They had no fear of death, which gave them an edge over their enemies. While other armies fought to survive, the Vikings fought to prove themselves worthy of Odin, their god of war. The Warrior Code. The Viking Code of Honor valued strength, courage, and loyalty. A Viking warrior had to be fearless, skilled, and ready to die in battle. This warrior spirit made them ruthless in fights. Stay with me until the end because we're diving deep into the heart of Viking warfare. We'll explore their weapons, battle tactics, training methods, and even the mindset that made them so unstoppable. You won't want to miss the surprising reason why the Vikings were able to dominate Europe for centuries. Now, let's jump into it. Chapter 1. Who were the Vikings? Before we talk about their fighting skills, let's understand who the Vikings were. The Vikings were seafaring people from Scandinavia, modern-day Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. From the late 8th to early 11th century, they spread fear across Europe. But they weren't just warriors. They were traders, explorers, and settlers. However, what made them famous was their ability to fight and conquer. They raided villages, fought powerful kingdoms, and even reached as far as North America long before Columbus. But why were they so successful in battle? Let's find out. Chapter 2. The Viking Warrior Mindset. One of the biggest reasons the Vikings were great fighters was their mindset, fearless in battle. Vikings believed in Norse mythology, where warriors who died bravely in battle were taken to Valhalla, a warrior's paradise. This belief made them fearless. They had no fear of death, which gave them an edge over their enemies. While other armies fought to survive, the Vikings fought to prove themselves worthy of Odin, their god of war. The Warrior Code. The Viking Code of Honor valued strength, courage, and loyalty. A Viking warrior had to be fearless, skilled, and ready to die in battle. This warrior spirit made them ruthless in fights. Chapter 3. Viking Training, Born to Fight. Viking men were trained from childhood to fight. Unlike many medieval armies, where soldiers were mostly farmers or peasants forced into battle, Vikings trained from a young age. Strength and endurance. Vikings lived in a harsh environment. They had to be strong to survive the cold winters and tough lifestyle. Their daily activities, chopping wood, hunting, rowing longboats, made them naturally strong and fit for battle. Weapon training. Young Vikings learned to use weapons early. Swords, axes, and spears were part of their training. They practiced wrestling and hand-to-hand combat, preparing them for real battles. Chapter 4. Viking Weapons, Tools of Destruction. The Vikings had some of the best weapons of their time. Their weapons were not just deadly. They were practical and designed for quick, powerful attacks. The Viking axe, the ultimate weapon. The battle axe was one of the most feared Viking weapons. Unlike heavy swords, axes were lighter, faster, and could be thrown. A skilled Viking could use an axe to slice through armor and shields in one powerful swing. The Viking sword, a warrior's pride. Only the richest Vikings carried swords, but those who did had weapons of great craftsmanship. Viking swords were strong, sharp, and built for cutting and stabbing. Spears and shields. Spears were common and useful in both attack and defense. Vikings also used round wooden shields, which were light but effective for blocking attacks. Chapter 5 Viking Battle Tactics Fighting Smart. The Vikings weren't just strong, they were smart fighters. They used tactics that gave them an advantage over their enemies. The shield wall. One of their most effective tactics was the shield wall. Warriors stood side by side, locking their shields together to form a strong defense. This made them nearly impossible to break. Hit-and-run raids. Vikings were fast and unpredictable. They used their longboats to strike quickly, loot, and escape before the enemy could react. Surprise attacks. Vikings often attacked at dawn, or during bad weather when their enemies were least expecting them. Chapter 6 The Viking longships, the secret weapon. Viking ships were a major reason for their success. Speed and mobility. Their longships were light and fast, allowing them to travel great distances quickly. They could sail up rivers, attack deep inside enemy lands, and disappear before the enemy could counterattack. The element of surprise. Vikings could land anywhere, on beaches, riverbanks, or even in the middle of a kingdom. This made them unpredictable and nearly impossible to defend against. Chapter 7 How Vikings Defeated Bigger Armies. The Vikings often fought larger, better-equipped armies, but still won. How did they do it? Fear tactics. Vikings were terrifying in battle. They wore wolf and bear skins, screamed war cries, and showed no mercy. Their enemies often lost a fight mentally before the battle even started. Adaptability. Vikings didn't stick to one strategy. They adapted to different situations. Whether in open battle or raiding a fortress, they found ways to win. Chapter 8 The End of the Viking Age. So, if Vikings were so good at fighting, why did their reign end? Over time, European kingdoms became stronger and built better defenses. Many Vikings also settled down, became farmers, and joined Christian societies. The final blow came in 1066, when the Vikings lost at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. After this, Viking raids slowed down and their era of dominance ended. The Vikings weren't just warriors. They were legends. Their fearless mindset, brutal training, and unmatched battle tactics made them some of the most dangerous fighters in history. From the deadly axe swings to their disciplined shield walls, they dominated the battlefield like no other. But what truly set them apart was their ability to strike fast, adapt to any fight, and terrify their enemies before the battle even began. Even though their age of conquest eventually ended, their impact on history never faded. Their stories of adventure, war, and exploration still capture our imagination today. From their raids across Europe to their journeys into the unknown, the Vikings proved that strategy, skill, and the will to fight can overcome even the biggest armies. So, the next time you hear the word Viking, remember, it wasn't just about raiding and pillaging. It was about power, courage, and a way of life built on the belief that warriors never truly die. If you found this deep dive into Viking warfare fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's plenty more history to uncover, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.